I had two of these Waveshare RP2040 screens lying on my desk and saw an acrylic skull in the supermarket, and from that this project was just built itself. One of the easiest projects that I've done in a while. Let me tell you all about it. Happy Halloween! Hi, I'm John, your concierge to the world of the Raspberry Pi Pico, Pico 2, Robotics, IoT and other fun tech. Remember to subscribe and join the community. Last year I built a robot head of Guy Fawkes for Halloween, well, and Bonfire night if you happen to be into the UK. That then mutated itself and became Robot Santa by Christmas. This year things have gone the other way. I wasn't planning on doing a Halloween special this year, but was working hard on building a big project for Christmas. The ideas for my Christmas build spilled over though, and somehow I came up with this silly little Halloween project. Some of my projects are quite involved, certainly in terms of software. This, I'm glad to say, isn't one of them. It took me less than 2 days, and longer because I put a bit too much pressure on one of the screens and had to replace it because I broke it. If you like this video and it helps your learning or projects, why not drop me a cash tip using the super thanks button below the video? I'm saving these things up to get myself to open source in San Francisco next year, and I'd appreciate your help in getting me there, and I hope to see you there too. Please hit that like button and subscribe to stay tuned to the channel. So the whole concept of this project really started from these little screens. And these are different from the RP2040 Touch that I looked at in a previous video that you probably saw. They don't have a touch interface, they're therefore slightly cheaper, and they have a slightly different interface on the back with SWD being available. Then in my local Lidl, I found a acrylic skull, which was full of sweets. It's no longer full of sweets, but it was ideal. I suddenly thought, actually, could I combine the two and we can have this head with these eyes? And that's the project today. Let me introduce these RP2040 LCD screens properly. So this is an RP2040 device. So it's just like a Pico, but it's got a TFT screen, which happens to be circular and 240 by 240 pixels. There is no touch interface on there, but there is IMU, so you can measure the effect of gravity and therefore understand how, the display being rotated. It's quite small, it's watch size, so 39 by 26 millimeters, and it's got of course a USB-C interface. Unlike the touch interface, the version that I showed, there are a few little changes in the spec. For instance, this has half the amount of flash. The touch has 4 meg, this version only has 2 meg of flash. Still got lithium battery management. It also exposes nearly every GPIO, those that are both used to run the onboard LCD display and the IMU, as well as the unused ones that are available for your own project. And cool, beyond cool, it has SWD. So suddenly debugging and actually flashing code to it becomes somewhat easier. Somewhat, I will say, because the connectors on the side of this actually have given me the odd problem. Those look like nice header pins, but they're actually 1.27 millimeter spec rather than 2.54, so they don't fit anything that I have standardly on hand, and they certainly don't fit anything going into a breadboard, so you're going to have to build up your own connector. Also, connectors that tend to fit these tend to be surface mount only. I found very little in the way of through hole that actually will work with these connectors. Now that's a little bit of a challenge, I think, for us as a hobbyist coming and working with these. But there we go, we got a TFT display, an RP2040 and an IMU if we want to use it, though I'm not going to use it in this project. As always, I'm going to share all the code for this project on GitHub, and you can find it at this repo here. I'll put the link in the description too. So this project is really enabled by LVGL, which is a framework that gives us graphics primitives for the screen that we're using, and it happens to have a reasonable example built by Waveshare for this display. So then all we actually need is a hideous looking eye. And I can easily create a hideous looking eye picture, and that's what I've done here. And we've got that as nicely as a PNG. And I'm then going to convert that using the LVGL image converter to a version 8.c file, which will give me all of the structures for this as a C object, ready for me to actually build and work with in the LVGL. That means that actually putting this eye on the display is 4 lines of code. I just need to declare that the eye exists. I've got to create then an image, to set the source of that image, and to align it where I want it on the screen. Now that align bit is what I'm going to use to actually move it around, because as long as I move the alignment and change the positions there on the right hand side, then I can move that eye from left to right. Cool. Now any of you who sort of have a bit more knowledge is going to realize that there will be some problems with doing that. Yes, the pupil would move nicely around and it would look great, but there's going to be quite a lot of bleed of the surround of the eye into the skull, and it's not going to look like it's really part of the skull. So what we need is a mask. So can I add a mask to this and actually clip it so that we actually only have the piece between the eyelids being actually shown? Well, that could be difficult, couldn't it? But with LVGL, it's not. It's another 4 lines of code, because actually I just put another image on top. Now LVGL knows that anything that is green screened or pure green, RGB 00FF00, can actually be transparent. And so I can just use something like this and I get a perfect oval for my eye shape. And that will then clip. And that's all we're doing. And again, it's 4 lines of code. So that's really, really easy. So that will give us one eye that I can move around and scare people with a bit. But I'd like 2 eyes, please. Surely we want 2 eyes. So if we want to work with 2 eyes, then I have to think a bit more, because that means actually a distributed system, because we're going to have 2 separate RP2040s running 2 separate pieces of code, and how are they going to communicate, how that's going to work, how do they synchronize together? Well, to do that, the first thing is, we're going to have a dominant eye and a submissive eye, just like humans have. So the dominant eye is going to be the one that's going to lead. So it's going to know what to do. And the way that I've done this is to say that the dominant eye has the spec. It knows where it is to move the pupil for both the dominant and the submissive eye too, and how long it should take for the eye to actually move to that location. And that time there is in milliseconds. So then what we can actually do is communicate from the dominant eye to the submissive eye, and we can use the UART. And I'm using UART 1, which is available to me on these screens. I'm using UART 1 because I tend to try and reserve UART 0 for telemetry and for debug messages if I can. So that's why I'm using UART 1 in this case. We're going to basically use UART 1 to send a message from the dominant eye to the submissive eye. And we're going to send it just a little snippet of the instruction to say, within this amount of milliseconds, please move to this X and Y position for your pupil. So that is enough to actually give us the ability to actually animate and sync both our eyes so that they can move around in any way I want. LVGL has made this project quite simple. It's one of the things that attracted me to these Waveshare screens in the first place, and it was a good call. I do want to do some work to upgrade myself to the most recent version of this library though, and that's something I'll have to do later. There's definitely more I could do with this project. I've cheated a bit and used the same mask for both eyes. It would have looked better, I think, if I'd used different slanted masks across each of the 2 eyes. I'd love to know if you've built anything for Halloween. Please share in the comments. If you'd like this video and it helps your learning or projects, why not drop me a cash tip using that super thanks button below the video. Remember, I'm saving these things up to get myself to open source in San Francisco next year with the other makers, and I'd appreciate your help in getting me there, and I hope to see you there too. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please do hit that like button, and please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next video. Happy Halloween, guys!